Mr. Mark Feltham, armonicista storico dei 9 Below Zero. Mr. Mark Feltham, original art player of the 9 Below Zero. And I saw you many times in Italy. You came here many times, I think. Even on the Trasimeno Blues, you were here several years ago. What do you think about the Italian audience? Do you enjoy to play here in Italy?
I think that Italy has some wonderful blues musicians, probably unlike any other country in Europe, especially some wonderful bass players. I don't know why, but Italy seems to produce wonderful bass players. Also the Scandinavians. In Sweden and Norway, blues is actually bigger now in Scandinavia and Italy than it is in England. In England in the 60s, it was very big, but not so much now. We've lost our way a little bit in England. Obviously, the guys that were there originally are still playing, but the new kids are not really playing blues. Whereas I find in my travels all over Europe that a lot of the young kids in Italy and Scandinavia seem to be playing blues with much more passion.
Ho chiesto a lui è venuto molte volte in Italia, ho chiesto a lui cosa ne pensa dell'audience italiana. Lui ha detto che in Italia c'è una scena blues molto interessante, molti musicisti interessanti, così come in altri posti in Europa, Scandinavia e quant'altro, molto più che in Inghilterra. The 9 Below Zero was a song by Sonny Boy Williamson. Was an inspiration of yours, Sonny Boy Williamson? Which art player did you listen to when you, as a child, as a young
boy? Yes, Sonny Boy Williamson, of course. But I took influences from country music as well, not only blues music, but country music as well. My big hero is Charlie McCoy. There's a Nashville musician. A lot of the Nashville session players I liked. So we did not take the name 9 Below Zero because of Sonny Boy Williamson II. I actually preferred Sonny Boy Williamson the first. Yes, personally. But you know, the song actually came about. We were called Stan's Blues Band before, and the reason it was called Stan's Blues Band is that Dennis was a big fan of Stan Webb. And we had a young manager that come in and he said, you have to get rid of that name, it's terrible. So we got signed by the record company, and the record company said, that name has got to finish, get a new name. So we all loved that song, 9 Below Zero. So that became the name. And that's the story, that's the true story.
Contrariamente a quello che si pensa, non hanno tratto il nome da una canzone di Sonny Boy Williamson, un grande armonicista, più per caso che per altro, non perché fosse lui personalmente appassionato di Sonny Boy Williamson. Secondo, è molto più appassionato di Sonny Boy Williamson. You loved the blues as a child. Was a big blues scene in England at that time, the 60s, the 70s. I don't know.
I think. Well, we came in at the end of the blues boom when the punk scene started in London with the Sex Pistols and all those bands. You know, it was a punk era at the beginning, and also the beginning of the Jam and bands like that. So we were not really fashionable. Can you understand what I'm saying? Because the blues thing had finished. John Mayall and Clapton, or Eric's gone on to do great things, but that 60s blues thing with Fleetwood Mac had all finished, and we were the new, and we had a bit of not only the blues thing, we had a bit of punk, punk element as well. So it was an aggressive blues.
How can you explain that in terms of punk, a record like Live at Martinìs, so rough, so direct, so blues-rooted, was so successful?
Well, I think that Dennis and I, the two originals, Dennis's heart was much more aggressive side to things than he was more of a mod, you know, a London mod, and he loved Dr. Feelgood, and I loved the American country thing. So the two of us come together, so you had a mixture of aggressive mod punk and me trying to hold it back to be more bluesy. So that's really the story of how 9 Below Zero come about. Dennis is always the one right on the edge, and I'm the one that pulls him back. But it works, and it's worked for 34, nearly 35 years now. I've been with Dennis, 36 years.
Loro sono venuti fuori alla fine degli anni 70, quando la scena del blues inglese stava scemando e quando stava crescendo il punk, per cui è abbastanza insolito che un disco epico come il Live at Marquee, così diretto e così essenziale, ottenesse un così grande successo. Wandering around your production, I can help myself, Roy Heads, Treat Her Right, or Woolly Bully. You should love the 60s novelty songs a lot. I think there are many in your production, your records.
Of course, yes, of course we do. And I think as we've got older and more mature as musicians, this is why we released Hats Off, which is one of our later blues albums, where we decided it was time in our life to pay respect to the blues guys that we had listened to throughout our lives, for many years. So that album, which is one of the favourites of mine, really goes back to how I see 9 Below Zero being. But we have lots of facets, lots of different angles on our music, and I think it's a very difficult thing. If you get stuck too much in one area, one genre, Dennis pulls me enough. I think it's healthy to keep your ears open to other things.
Nella loro produzione loro hanno spesso dichiarato un tributo ai grandi gruppi degli anni 60, non solo al blues, e lui dice che è bene effettivamente allargare i propri orizzonti, non isolandosi in un unico genere. Ok, Mr. Mark, it's been a pleasure. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Grazie.
I said no more slipping and dogging around with you. Yeah, I got no more slipping and dogging around with you. Well, now do you wanna love me? You know what you have to do. Well, I'm like a car came my way, take a chance.